hindsight is 20/20, right? Well, it doesn't always have to be only hindsight that lets us in on secrets for the future. There are a million things to consider when buying a home, but there are a few hot list items that my clients often ask about or joke that they wish they knew more about before getting into the purchase process. So here's a few of them. Number 1, credit scores. Most people know that in order to obtain a loan, their credit must be in order. What most people don't know is what their credit score actually is, or better yet, how to improve it if need be. Now, while there's no one-size-fits-all method to doing this, there are several things you can do to improve your credit score, even if it's already pretty good. First thing is paying bills on time. This may seem like common sense, but it is a necessary step to help improving your credit score. Paying your bills on time helps the same way a credit card does. It helps other money lenders see that you're responsible in making regular payments. When you've got a mortgage, you're going to be expected to make regular monthly, at least, payments. The lenders want to know that they can count on you to stay on top of those payments. Of course, there are options for the number of payments you can make, but that's between you and the lender. Smart credit card use. Credit cards can be scary for some people because they've heard the horror stories of people spending too much money on credit cards and then landing in huge amounts of debt that they can't pay back. Now, while this may be the case for some people, credit cards can be a really great tool for building credit. One easy way is to monitor your spending is to pick one thing that you use regularly, like gas or groceries, and only pay for that service using your credit card. Then each month, pay the statement balance, and you're off to a good start. Regularly using your credit card and paying it off each month will help increase your credit by creating more credit history. And future lenders can see that you've been making regular payments on your credit card, and they may be more likely to offer you credit for a mortgage loan too. Don't close those credit cards you never use. Believe it or not, having old credit cards with zero balance is actually a good thing. Those cards have a history, so to speak. The longer your credit history, the better off you'll be. The credit bureaus look at how much credit you have available to you versus how much you've already borrowed to determine how much credit worthiness you have. It's a really tricky formula, but it's an important thing to at least have a basic understanding of how it works. And also keep in mind that closing those old credit cards can actually lower your credit score. Because you're eliminating how much credit is available to you, your debt ratio goes up, and that's not a good thing for the credit bureaus. Don't open new cards just to increase your available credit. Now, I know that sounds like the perfect plan, but this could backfire and cost you valuable credit score points. Each time you apply for any kind of credit cards, car loans, mortgage loans, the future lender runs a credit check. And the credit bureaus get notified of these checks and they lower your credit scores slightly. Stinks, doesn't it? And this is because of two things. They can't see that if your credit is resulting in adding more credit lines, so they ding your credit score, assuming that you've opened another line of credit. And two, if you have several credit checks, it looks like you're being denied credit offers and are going from one lender to another trying to get approved. Obviously, this looks bad. Just once or twice in 2 years isn't enough to make a significant difference, but much more than that could really start to have a noticeably negative consequence on your credit score. Number 2, down payment. Most buyers know that before they purchase a home, they will need some kind of substantial down payment, like the traditional 20% down. Now, while it's true you should have some money set aside for a down payment, there are several options that make a future home purchase closer in your future than you think, and with less than 20% down. Some states and regions even have down payment assistance programs to help first-time buyers and other qualified buyers purchase a home with little or no down payment. There are also several types of loans, including FHA and VA for active duty military and veterans, that could help minimize the required down payment. Number 3, inspections. Most people understand that an inspection is a necessary part of the home buying process, but many don't know what to ask for in an inspection. There are so many things within a home that could break or otherwise be faulty that no one buyer could possibly find all of those problems the first time they walk through a home. Real estate agents should be able to recommend a company or an inspector to come out and do a thorough check of the home. These inspectors go through training and professional development, and they stay on top of the changes in codes and expectations for a city or municipality. Number 4, lender documents. Income documentation, such as the last 2 years of W-2s or other tax return documents. They may also ask for recent bank statements from checking or savings accounts showing where from and where to the money's going and where your down payment will come from. Credit documents such as bankruptcy, judgments or liens, letters of explanations for late payments, all of that stuff too. They may also ask for personal documents like a divorce decree or child support obligation notices. Your homeowner's insurance information, although this can be obtained as the process goes along, is another piece too. Your lender should be able to provide you a list of documents they will need, but be prepared to run to a fax machine or scanner to provide your loan officer with a last-minute document as they go through. Your loan officer is working with a team of underwriters who have very specific terms that they must meet in order for the loan to be approved. Your loan officer isn't the only person looking over your documents and paperwork. They're just the ones that need to collect it from you. Number 5, fees. Nothing in this world is free. Purchasing a home is certainly no different. There will be many fees that you'll soon be responsible for, even if your real estate agent is paid by the sellers. Each party that's involved in the process of your new home purchase will charge some kind of fee to get the work done. After all, we all have to get paid somehow. Some of these organizations will have a flat fee schedule that they can provide at the beginning, and others will charge based on the type of work that must be done in order to close on the home. The title company is one of the first offices that will help you obtain the appropriate legal documentation for your purchase. They go through public records and make sure that the home you are purchasing is free and clear of any negative ownership that may prevent you from finalizing your purchase. They go through document after document to make sure that everything looks good for your purchase. They also file necessary title documents so the home is sold to you, and your wishes for ownership in the case of your death prior to you selling the home are documented too. They go through the closing documents with you and explain every piece of paper you'll sign. It's more than just sorting through some old papers at the library. These guys work really hard to make sure that you're in the clear. Your lender will also have certain fees they charge relating to the process of the loan. They order credit checks and appraisals, but ultimately you are responsible for paying for those services. The lender may charge a flat fee, or it could be a percentage of the loan amount. Each lender will have different fees, so be sure to call around and check with different lenders to make sure that you trust them and that you're getting the best deal all around. But remember not to have multiple lenders checking your credit. Inspections were mentioned earlier, but don't forget that you'll have to pay for those too. The total cost for your inspection depends on a few different factors. How big is the home? What specific inspections have you requested in addition to the standard home inspection? And maybe even what area of the country you're purchasing a home. All of these fees associated with the home purchase, this is one that most people are okay with paying. It's paying for peace of mind in your new purchase. Number 6. Monthly payments are more than just the loan payment. Surprise! That monthly payment you calculated through that online calculator may not be the most accurate prediction of your monthly payment. Those calculators are only taking into account the loan amount and the interest rate. There are many other monthly payments added to your overall mortgage payment. Now, some of these are simply things that the lender charges along the way, like interest, but others are for an escrow account that you may actually be glad you have. Each month, you're charged interest, and with the interest payment being greater in the beginning of the loan term. This is actually the opposite of things like car loans, credit cards, and student loans. The interest you'll pay over the life of the loan may seem like a lot, but even a little bit extra principal payment on each statement can help significantly in the life of the loan. I've heard it said that making 13 payments a year instead of 12 could reduce the life of a 30-year mortgage by 7 years. Your lender has most likely set up an escrow account for you as well. Each month, you're contributing a little bit of your payment to that escrow account so that at tax time, the loan servicer will pay your personal property taxes. For many people, especially in Missouri, this is a huge help because they aren't trying to find a couple $1,000s to pay their taxes in November or December. The loan servicers are using last year's taxes to calculate this year's, so beware that there might be a shortage or an overage in your account. You'll be notified of any shortages in your escrow and be asked to pay a little bit extra to cover those, and usually in one of two ways. Either one, pay the difference up front, or two, as a courtesy, they'll let you spread the payments out over the next 12 months at 0% interest. If there's too much extra in the account at the end after taxes are paid, you'll get a refund. And the loan servicer bases their escrow amount paid monthly on the previous year's taxes, but each year these change slightly due to market fluctuations. So you may have the option to put your homeowner's insurance in escrow too. This process would be very similar to the amount you've escrowed for taxes, so be sure to discuss this with your loan servicer too. Depending on your loan, your down payment, you may also have some extra taxes or interest or insurance, like PMI, that are added to your monthly statement. Be sure to check with your lender so you know what fees you're going to be paying along the way. Number 7, timeline for purchasing. One of the first questions I'm asked by first-time buyers is typically, so when should I start looking? Well, this is kind of a tricky question to answer because it all depends. There are several factors that go into the timeline as you search for your home, and they can change depending on your motivations and your resources. The first thing to consider is how long do you want to be looking for a home before you decide to make an offer? For some people, they want to take their time and know that they're finding just the right home. This could take weeks or even months, depending on what things they must have in their new home. This method works well for people who are ready to move, but who don't have a specific timeline with current lease restrictions. Now, others are more motivated by personal reasons, or they do have lease restrictions to find a place. While there's no right or wrong timeline for searching, it's probably best to give yourself some time to process each home and don't expect to fall in love with the first house you see. It's a big purchase. Taking your time is expected. And you may also want to consider the best time of year to be looking for homes. Homes typically start hitting the market in more significant numbers around March in St. Louis, and there are way more homes sold in the fall than in the spring. So if you're not in a hurry, watch the market over the summer and be ready to jump in as soon as the weather starts to turn again. Once you've found a home you like to make an offer on, expect at least 30 to 45 days before you get the keys. The lender and the title company need time to get all of their documents in order, and you need time to do the inspections and get occupancy permits taken care of. Talk to your realtor about days to schedule a closing. You'll want to be aware of your schedule conflicts as well as holidays. And while it's an exciting time, it's also a time of hurry up and wait for things to be taken care of. But never fear, closing day will be here before you know it. Number 8, closing day actions. The day has finally arrived for you to pick up the keys, but hold up a second. There are a few things you'll have to do first. Before arriving at the agreed upon place of closing, usually a bank or the title company, you'll need to stop by the bank and collect a cashier's check with the exact amount provided in your closing documents. You should receive this from your lender and/or the title company. Now, this number is the final amount that you and your lender agreed to, as well as any extra fees not covered by the seller. The seller's responsible for taxes until the day of closing. It's called a prorated amount, as well as any other negotiated costs. Now, lenders have restrictions on how much seller credit can be provided, so you'll have to come to closing with some money. Once you've arrived at the closing table, you're almost there. Your lender and the title company closer will walk you through every page of documentation to make sure you understand what you're signing, because you'll sign more times than a celebrity at a charity event. Now, they walk you through the important documents and answer any questions you have. Everything you sign will be copied and provided to you, so don't worry about remembering every little detail. After everything is signed and the loan is funded, your agent may present you the keys. Be sure to ask them when this will all happen so you aren't disappointed if it's not the same day. Remember, the seller has to go through some closing documents too in order for the purchase to be complete. If you're still unsure of the process or have specific questions, let's chat. Send me a text, shoot me an email, or shoot, even send some smoke signals. But let's get talking.